Hey, it's Jonathan McGinley, the owner and founder of Intentional Man, an organization that inspires and equips men to live intentionally, pursue God-sized goals, and build lives of significance. Have you ever been on a vacation or a trip and your group didn't really have a clear plan for what you were going to spend your time doing? There wasn't really any agenda or list of activities that you were going to do. So what happens in this case? You usually end up spending a lot of time talking about what you should do next instead of actually spending your time doing activities. And this is one of the things that drives me crazy when I'm on trips. I'm definitely one of the planner types, and so I usually have my trips pretty planned out well before I go on them. And I'm fine being spontaneous and going with the flow, but what really drives me crazy is when you have a limited time in a new city or a new country, and you end up spending half of the time there just talking about what to do next, or you're spending hours looking up things to do in that area when you could just be out doing it. And if I'm going to spend a lot of time and money going somewhere new, I like to research things ahead of time on things that you can do in that spot, so you actually spend the time on vacation doing the fun activities instead of figuring out what to do. Having a good sense of clarity and direction, I believe, is an important element to the success of any vacation. And I believe the same is true in your life. If you don't have clarity, it's extremely difficult to be highly intentional. If you don't know things like who you are and what you want to be about and where you're going, you're going to end up spending a lot of time on things that might not be important, or a lot of time doing things that aren't in alignment with who you are or your long-term vision. So just as on a trip without a plan, you can spend a lot of time thinking about what you should do in any given moment, or spend a lot of time on activities that don't truly matter to you. So one of the most important elements of intentional living is clarity. And I know this seems pretty basic, but it's where intentional living has to start. The most highly intentional people that I know are very clear on who they are and where they're going. They're very clear on how they want to treat people. They're clear on the actions they need to take and the actions they need to take to get to their long-term vision. The most happy and engaged people I know seem to have the most clarity in their life. If I have a long-term vision for my life that's compelling, I can wake up each day with some excitement. When I forget where I'm going and I don't really have a clue what my vision is, it's really hard to get up each day and live with purpose. So if you feel stuck right now, it might actually be a matter of clarity. If you feel like you aren't enjoying your days that much right now, there's a good chance you need some more clarity in your life. If you aren't feeling challenged or you aren't growing in any way right now, you probably lack clarity on an exciting future. If you're just going through the motions in your life, you need clarity on how to spend your time in a way that's more aligned with who you are and where you want to go. Clarity is the beginning of intentional living. You need to develop the habit of clarity in your life. Highly intentional men continuously push to get more clarity. If you're not investing any time in your week right now thinking about the future or reflecting on how you treated people this week or how your attitude was, you have to start giving yourself some space for reflection each week. This needs to start to become a part of who you are. You should always be learning from your experiences. You should take time to think about the future. You should stop during the day to get clear on what you want to do next and how you want to show up in that next meeting or in that next situation. You can always gain more clarity in your life. It should become a part of your normal routine to just ask yourself good questions and to get really clear on the important things in your life. So today, I'm going to give you 4 different ways that you need to get clarity in your life right now. 4 different areas that I think will make a big impact in your life. Okay, let's jump in. The first area of clarity is you must be really clear on who you are. So what I mean by this is you got to know your mission. You have to know your priorities, your strengths, your values. Those are the kind of things I'm talking about when I talk about who you are. So do you know what you're passionate about? Do you have a clear understanding of your unique gifts and talents and abilities? Do you know what's truly important to you? And most importantly then, are you spending time on those things? Do you know what you value and what's deeply important to you? Do you know the things that you would give your life for? These are some great questions to ask yourself. And I know it seems basic, but it's surprising how few men I know have good answers to these questions. Clarity on who you are is actually associated with overall self-esteem. How positive you feel about yourself is directly related to how well you know yourself. Knowing yourself is also associated with confidence and happiness and being more assertive in your life. So if you don't know what you value, how do you know what to spend your time on? If you don't know what you're passionate about, it's going to be really difficult to be engaged in your life on a daily basis. But when you know who you are, when you know what you value and what your mission is, then you can live in alignment with that on a daily basis. And when you do that, you gain so much confidence. You're going to be so much more engaged in your life. You will feel so much more energy and momentum. So if you don't have massive clarity on who you are, this is the first place that you should start. So you should take some time this week to ask yourself some good questions and try to get crystal clear on your mission, your priorities, and your values. Okay, the second area where you need massive clarity is how you want to treat others. This is such a big one. So I want you to picture for a minute just some scenarios. Picture the last time you walked into work. Did you spend any time thinking about how you wanted to treat people that day? Whether it was your coworkers or your clients or your customers? Think about the last time you walked into your house. Did you stop to think about how you wanted to treat your family or your roommates when you walked in? When you last hung out with your friends, did you think about how you wanted to treat them or what would make that time more meaningful? If you don't spend any time getting clear on how you want to treat people, then you're usually just going to let your mood or your circumstances dictate how you show up in those situations. If you have a good day at work, you're probably going to be more pleasant in your relationships. But if you had a bad day at work, or maybe you didn't get a good night's rest, then most likely you're not going to treat people how you truly want to. An intentional man doesn't treat people based on mood or circumstance. An intentional man takes time to get clear on how he wants to treat people and then lives it out consistently no matter how he feels in the moment. One of the best ways to get clear on this is to ask yourself, what are 3 words that I would love people to use when they describe me? Ask yourself that question right now. What are 3 words that I would hope people would use when they describe me? It could be something like encouraging, loving, and supportive. It could be confident, thoughtful, and present. But think of 3 words and get clear on what's important to you when it comes to your interactions with people. Then you can start to live into those 3 words in each situation in your upcoming weeks. Okay. The next area of clarity would be getting clear on where you are going. Do you have a compelling vision for your life right now? Are you clear on what you want for your future? How do you know what to spend your time on if you don't know where you're going? How do you know what skills to develop or what strengths or weaknesses that you need to develop if you don't know where you're going in the future? Getting clear on your long-term vision is massive. You need to know what strengths or weaknesses that you need to develop. And this one does take some time. And so unfortunately, a lot of men don't take the time to actually get clear on this. And for the longest time, I didn't really have a clear vision of what I wanted in my life and where I wanted it to go. And it caused me to be extremely reactive. It caused me to just kind of go through the motions. But there's nothing that will boost your energy and motivation than a clear long-term vision of your life that is exciting to you. So if you're lacking motivation right now, maybe you need to spend some time connecting to a long-term vision that's exciting to you. Spend time dreaming and thinking about where you want your life to go and what mission you want to pursue. Okay, so that's number 3. The last area of clarity that you need to develop is you have to have a clear plan of action. So after you get clear on who you are, how you want to treat others, and that long-term vision, then take each one of those areas and put together an actual action plan that you can follow to make sure you're sticking to those things. A vision without a plan is just a wish. It's an awesome step to get clear on your long-term vision. That's more than most people do, but it's even more powerful when you take that vision and you develop a plan that you can follow to reach that long-term vision. One of the most energizing things in life is when you can see that you're making progress on meaningful pursuits and meaningful goals. The days where I feel the most alive and energized are the days where I took action on what was important to me. The days where I feel the worst when I go to bed are the days that I know I wasted. The days I didn't take action or that I wasted time on things that didn't matter. The most intentional men I know have taken the time to develop a plan of action that keeps them in consistent alignment with their vision, their mission, and their values. A dream without a plan is just a wish. It's just a good intention. But having a clear plan of action that you can follow on a daily and weekly basis will allow you to live with daily intentionality. So ask yourself, Do I know what actions I need to take this week that lead me toward my long-term vision? Do I know what actions I must take this week in order to live in alignment with my priorities? If you don't have good answers to those questions, you might need spend a little more time developing a clear plan of action. So again, clarity is the first step of intentional living. Without it, you're not going to be able to know how to spend your time and energy. Spending time getting clarity in 4 key areas: who you are, how you want to treat people, your long-term vision, and the plan to get there are the 4 areas that will give you massive clarity, and they will enable you to live a much more intentional life. So I hope today was encouraging and helpful for you. The commitment to clarity for me has made a huge difference in my life, and I truly hope that it creates a massive impact in your life as well. If this training was helpful, please share it with somebody you know that could also benefit from it. But thank you so much for joining me today. Go live a life you're proud of by living intentionally.